Good morning and happy Thursday. So, we were talking about the triad and what makes us feel the feelings that we always feel. And number one, we got to remind ourselves it isn't the outcomes that we're really looking for, it's how we think the outcomes are going to make us feel. That's what we're really looking for in life. We're not looking for actually money, we're looking for what we think money is going to give us freedom, security, whatever. Relationships, we're not looking for the specific relationship, we're looking for the feelings that we think being in a relationship is going to give us. So, how can we give ourselves those feelings now? Because at the end of the day, the reason that we have those feelings is because we give ourselves permission to have those feelings. So, we do that by using the triad. The triad is three things, it's a triangle. These three things make up how you feel at any given time, always. And the basis of it is your physical body. How you're holding your physical body will decide how you feel. People will think like, well, I'm depressed and then my body works in a certain way. When the reality is it can be the exact opposite. You it's not that you are depressed, it's that you're doing depression. Now, I'm not belittling anybody's personal things that they have. I'm not saying it doesn't, I'm not saying any of that. But physical body is what drives those things. If you change your physical body, you're going to change how you feel. There's no way that that doesn't happen. If you move your body in a certain way, your feelings are going to completely change in a certain way. So if you want to change how you feel, then change how you move. So the basis of the triad is your physical body. Then one side is language slash beliefs. And that means the language that you're saying to yourself also decides how you feel. We're going to talk about that a little bit as we go into the next couple of days. And then the other part of the triangle is focus. Whatever you're focusing on also decides how you feel. Where focus goes, energy flows. So we can be focusing on what is good or we can be focusing on what is bad. We can be using our language to say, hey, this is inconvenient, or we can be using our language to say, hey, this is completely devastating. And obviously, those two things are going to make us feel much differently. But the number one is that physical body. And so just remember this: emotion is created by motion. When you want to feel a certain emotion, movement is what creates that. Movement is what creates that particular emotion. So if we're moving slowly and we're closed down and we're closed off, then that's how we're going to feel. But if we're open and we're moving quickly and strongly and up, then that's going to have us have completely different feelings. You know, when we feel tired and depressed and down, our movements are down and slow and shallow and centered. When we're feeling energetic and excited and alive, our movements are open and they're up. And we say things like bright and we say excited, we say words like that. So always start with that physical body when it comes time to change how you feel or to decide how you feel. There's a reason that exercising in the morning is such a powerful thing because it gets you moving. It gets that physical body moving. It gets oxygen in the bloodstream. You know, one of the reasons that as we said, people smoke is because it gives them a very deep diaphragmatic breath. And so you take that deep breath and slow down. Well, why not do it without the cigarette? You can exchange smoking for breathing. You know, we do use alcohol to change the chemical makeup of our body. Well, when you go exercise or when you just jump up and down for a minute, you're also changing the chemical makeup of your body. So you can do it without using alcohol or without using some other drug in order to do that. So for today, emotion is created by motion. And then we're going to talk about focus and we're going to talk about language over the next 2 days. But that triad, physical body, language slash belief, and focus, decides everything of how we feel. Everything. Every minute of every day, how you're feeling is decided by that triad. What's your physical body? What's the language in your head? And what are you focusing on? Those are the things that decide exactly how you feel at any moment. So if there's nothing that you get from any motivational anything other than this there's nothing that'll have a greater impact on your life, and that is we decide how we feel. And I know I said this yesterday, but repetition is the mother of skill. We decide how we feel. It is up to us to decide how we feel at any given moment. But what we a lot of times do is we turn that power over to a reaction. An event happens and we react to it physically, and then we let the event decide how we feel. When the truth is, we can control our physical body, we can control our language, and we can control our focus. And as a result, we can control how we feel at any time. We can decide how to respond to the event. And the quickest way is to use your body. And I know today is a bit of a recap of yesterday, but there's a reason it's that important. When you're feeling in a way you don't want to feel, change your physical body and you're going to feel completely differently. And it's going to be able to do that with regards to anything that happens in your life. And remember, state management is everything, and that's what this is. The ability to manage your state in difficult times will decide the quality of your life. If you can manage your state, you have everything. If you don't manage your state, you're not going to have anything. It's easy to make the right decisions when there isn't a crisis, but when the crisis happens, that's when the chips are down. When things aren't going the way that you'd planned, that's when all of a sudden the chips are down, and that is when you need to learn how to manage your state so that you can make better decisions. And when you make better decisions in those crises, you're going to have a better life. The outcomes that we want to create are not going to come without going through some hardships. And if you can manage your state, then you're going to navigate those hardships significantly better. If you are in an empowering state, when something happens, you're going to make a different decision than if you're in a scared, nervous, crisis state. Then you're going to make a decision that's not going to be as good. And remember, good judgment comes from experience. Experience comes from making decisions, making mistakes. Mistakes comes from bad judgment. So as we go along this line of life where we're getting all of these experiences that we can utilizing that education in order to make good decisions requires that you're in a state that you allow yourself to do that and not in a reaction. You know, if you look back on the times in your life where you're like, God, I wish I would have responded differently, most of the time it's a situation where you weren't managing your state. And so all of a sudden you responded in a way that was reactionary, and you look back and you go, God, I wish I would have done that better, especially with regards to kids. I don't know about you, but that's the area where I look back and I go, God, I wish I would have responded that better. Well, that's a day that you didn't manage your state. And this is how you do it for the rest of your life. Start with the physical body. Start with breathing. Start with where your focus is. Are you focusing up or down? You get a chance to respond to things. In the moment of that decision is where your destiny is shaped, is what Tony Robbins says. Stephen Covey talks about the gap between where something happens and your response. That in that moment, you can pause, manage your state, and make a decision that is more along the lines that's consistent with your identity and the outcomes that you want in your life. There's nothing more crucial in terms of creating the outcomes you want in your life than being able to do this. And there's a reason that we talk about it again and again and again. And I talk about it with myself again and again and again. I remind myself of this every day because it's called neurolinguistic conditioning for a reason. That's because you need to condition this every day and remind yourself, we are in charge. And when you're able to do that, and you start to get that concept that you're in charge of your physical body and your emotions and how you respond, now all kinds of possibilities are going to open up for you. Thank you very much for watching, everybody. Good morning, Mr. Drahobel down in Florida. Good morning, Uncle Bill. Great to see you. Valerie, great to see you. And Noel, great to see you too. Have a great day, everybody. We're all in this together. Let's take care of each other.